Welcome back to 5 Minutes With on HGTV. I'm Steve Strum. This morning, Brady and I have an opportunity to have a conversation with Gautam Bose from Accolade Home Loans. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
All right, we were talking offset. Obviously, home loans, mortgages, that's your game. Tell us a little bit about yourself, sir, and your company.
Yes. So my company is Accolade Home Loans. It has been in business for about more than a year now, but I have spent 30 years in the industry. And I've had long years of experience in dealing with customers in the home loan space. So what I bring to the table is different aspects of the home borrowing, which customers typically struggle with. And I get a lot of happiness out of just helping customers meet their American dream of buying a home. So that's my spiel.
So 30 years in the business, working for somebody else, and then you made the decision to go on your own.
Yes.
What made that decision? Why did you go to business for yourself?
Right. So there came a point where I think I was no longer that eager about the career pursuit. And instead, what I decided to do was, given what I know, how I can help others. And one of the things that people really need help on is actually buying a home. Because on one hand, it seems like everybody wants to do it, but it's not so simple. There are issues about credit, there are issues about income, there are issues about assets, and there are all kinds of rules and regulations. So people need a lot of help on that. And I have seen a lot of people in the margin, different segments of the population who need the help. So there may be new immigrants who are trying to buy a home. There are people who are retired folks who are trying to downsize and get into a different home. There are people who have had credit issues in the past, but they actually have good income. And there are a lot of government benefits that are available to them. And connecting those things is really where I'm playing, and I'm having a blast.
So Gautam, obviously we know each other on a level, and I know you are an expert in the industry. Working with a lot of especially buyers lately, it's no secret that the interest rate has been a topic of interest, if you would, these last few years.
No pun intended. Or maybe pun intended.
Completely
well, there's
intended.
A big
I
pun.
Tell this joke too many
Tell that
times.
to the producers, right? There's a pun intended.
But 2022, unprecedented year. Where do you feel the interest rate is currently, and what do you feel it's going to do as we move forward into 2023?
Great question. This has been it's in everybody's mind. Nobody has a crystal ball. But given, if you think of the Fed chairman, Jerome Powell, he's the one who is really pulling the strings on this. It seems like the interest rate hike regimen is towards the end. That has been widely acknowledged. So when it will stop, when it will start falling, people are not sure, but it's towards the end. It's not going to be going up at the rate at which it has gone up in the last year or more. Now, so that being the case, the other thing that is happening is that when interest rates rise, banks get into trouble. And when banks get into trouble, credit gets squeezed. So those are the things that people still are not sure about. But interest rates are not going to be rising the way they were rising before. That's the only thing I know.
Which is interesting. And based off of your 30 years of experience, a lot of your newer customers, right? Not necessarily the retiree market, but some of the folks that might be immigrants or some of the people that are doing their first time home buy, they're looking at this 5 and 6% business going, that's outrageous. But, well, 40 years ago, dating myself a little bit, what was the interest rate to buy a house? 18, 19, 20%.
That's right.
And so, when you were talking about Fed Chair Powell, that's a very important thing. A lot of people are giving him some negative feedback, but he's actually not doing a bad job because he has to right the economy. What do you see over the next couple years with that?
So I think what you said, I completely agree with. What Jerome Powell has done, he stabilized the economy. It is not the free money economy where 0% rate, what people were spoiled on. And people went and there was a splurge and people were buying very expensive homes and knowing they don't have to pay much interest on that. So that regime is over. And also the regime of very high interest rates, it's also not going to be there. So it is somewhere in the moderate space of between 5 to 6%. It is where everything I read is where things are going to be.
Which is normal.
Normal, which is how it used to be, to your point, 40 year, 30 year, even 20 years back, that's what it was. I bought my first house 20 years back, and that was at 5%. And it has not changed much. So now it is, a lot of people have mortgages at low interest rates, but largely there is expectation that things will stabilize. But the uncertainty is about availability of homes.
Mm.
Recently, what we are seeing is not enough people are putting homes out in the market. So there is a lack of availability, and that is something that hopefully will change.
This is a fascinating conversation. We could continue for this. I could go for a half hour just listening to you. This is amazing. I really do appreciate you coming to check, to spend some time with us today. And for people to reach out to you, I'm sure that they can find, many different pieces out there. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Guys, if you want to find out more about Mr. Bose and Accolade Home Loans, please check us out on iwantabuzz.com. His link tree will be there. Thank you for joining us on 5 Minutes With. If you like us, share us, and remember, live with gratitude.